Some people decided they would build a new legendary Titanic ship again. But some strange accidents start happening on the ship. The story begins in the year 1912, when the real Titanic ship was sinking. A young woman named Elizabeth somehow escaped from the sinking ship. She kept calling for her fiancé Charles, but got no response. The ship's crew forcefully puts her in a lifeboat that was being lowered into the water. But the cable holding the boat suddenly breaks, and after the boat falls into the water, it capsizes. Everyone falls into the icy water. Elizabeth somehow climbs onto the overturned boat. Just then, Charles suddenly calls out to her from a nearby iceberg. To save Elizabeth, Charles jumps into the water. Elizabeth is now searching for Charles in the dark ocean waves when suddenly a corpse-like body suddenly emerges and drags her into the sea. 110 years after the real Titanic sank, a ship named Titanic 3 sets off on its new journey, on the exact same route that the old Titanic ship went. A man who came to the dock in a car with his partner is standing there looking out of his car window. He's very impressed seeing the ship and tells his companion to put down the phone and look at it for a while. The girl, as soon as she looks, realizes this is being recorded, so she suddenly gets excited and starts praising Titanic 3. Actually, both of them are vloggers, and as soon as they get out of the car, their fans surround them. After taking some photos, they make an excited video for their followers and then board the ship. After this, we see Titanic 3's Captain Rose telling her team about a military man named Brian Andrews who will be present with his team for the ship's security at all times. Inside the ship, many antique items from the old Titanic are kept, for which this additional security was needed. After this, we see a young woman coming out of a bag. She comes out of the bag and quietly roams the lower parts of the ship. Soon the unknown girl comes up and steals a crew uniform from a room. The unknown girl, wearing the crew uniform, goes to the museum part of the ship, where a violin is kept inside a cupboard. As soon as the girl sees the violin, she takes it in her hand. Just then a man comes in shouting and immediately tells her to put down the violin. He says this is the most precious piece here. After being in the sea for 100 years, it was taken out of the old ship, and he doesn't want some careless girl to ruin it without reason. Julie comes in between and tries to mediate, telling the girl to leave. Just then the unknown girl sees a gold coin and a gold pen there. She says her grandmother also had a pen just like this. She believed that the belongings of people who died on the Titanic shouldn't have been taken out. In ancient times, people would bury the belongings of the dead with them, and those who violated the belongings of the dead would be cursed. The man is now frustrated with this unknown girl. He asks Julie, "Who is this? Why is she talking so much nonsense?" Julia doesn't know who she is either, but so many people work on this ship that it's hard to know everyone. So Julia quickly tells her to leave. While that man and Julie are talking, the girl secretly steals the hairpin and the coin. Over there, that unknown girl sits in the lower part of the ship and starts practicing black magic. She takes out a photo of the old Titanic's captain from her bag and asks all the spirits to wake up. At this time, everyone in the ship's ballroom is dancing and having fun. Mia and Jackson are still making videos of different parts of the ship. As they wander around, they reach the lower part of the ship and see that girl doing black magic. They don't understand what she's doing, but when she starts worshiping in a very dangerous way, they get scared and try to leave. But just then the back door suddenly opens wide. Frightened, they turn to look, but it's Mia and Jackson's fan Nancy, who has come there. She found them by watching their live stream and came here. Despite all the noise, that girl's attention doesn't waver. She remains completely focused on her black magic. Suddenly, due to her power, the ship's walls start shaking and the vlogger's camera turns off by itself. Seeing all this, Jackson says they should leave immediately. Mia and Nancy also immediately leave with him. Now, even the captain's room's lights start fluctuating. Suddenly, the captain's video call with her fiancé cuts off. So she understands that the ship's connection with the entire world is cut. On the other side, Mia, Nancy, and Jackson are in the ship's corridor. Nancy tells them she's been following them for years. Just then, Jackson bumps into Hal again. So he calls him careless again. Then he looks at Mia and smiles for no reason. Nancy tells Hal, Do you know who these are? They have 12 million subscribers on YouTube. Hearing this, Hal thinks they must have a lot of money. After that, he starts telling them that he has many things from the old Titanic for sale, and he has a blue diamond that would look very good on Mia. Mia angrily tells him she doesn't need to wear a hand. Then Jackson comes in between and tells Hal to leave. Meanwhile, that unknown girl is still doing her black magic, and soon it's complete. We find out that the previous ship's captain was her grandfather. After that, Titanic's Captain Edward Smith, who is her great-grandfather, appears before her. During this time, Mia and Jackson make a video on the deck. Suddenly, Mia hears the beautiful sound of a violin, and behind it stands a ghost-like man with a violin. He's playing such a beautiful violin that Mia and Jackson start dancing. But then something strange happens to the ship. All the lights on Titanic 3 go out in a moment. Mia is still dancing in a trance with Jackson. Suddenly, that beautiful melody turns into a very sharp sound that's tearing everyone's ears. Mia holds her head and screams, "What's happening?" Jackson doesn't know what to do. The ghost playing the violin is now very close to Mia. She gets scared and covers her ears because the sound won't stop. On the other side, the ghost drags Jackson into thick fog. As soon as the sound stops, the captain's assistant orders to check the entire ship's system. Coming to her senses, Mia looks around for Jackson, but he's nowhere. Soon Hal comes to meet her again and tries to calm her down. He also tells Mia to meet him in the bar later. Mia agrees, but then remembers her phone. As Mia is picking up her phone, Hal leaves from there. Now Mia thinks she'll tell people about this sound thing. Suddenly, the ghost playing the violin appears before her again, and with that scary sound, it approaches Mia and kills her. Soon, some security guards find Mia's body. After that, the ship's security head comes to meet Captain Rose in the ballroom. He takes her to the control room with him, where seeing everything behaving strangely, the captain becomes confused. The captain orders the crew to shut down the system and restart it. Just then, Brian arrives panicked and tells the captain to come with him. Both go to the deck where Mia's body is lying. Rose asks where her husband Jackson is, and she asks Brian to check if Mia was live streaming. Maybe something can be learned from her phone. Soon Hector arrives and tells the guards to quickly clear this area. The captain picks up Mia's phone and tells Hector to see who she last called. Meanwhile, she'll go to the control room and try to contact the Coast Guard. In the meantime, an engineer tries to fix all this mess. Suddenly, he hears a strange sound. As soon as he turns to look, a strange ghost comes towards him. Out of fear, he tries to run, but it's no use. A ghost appears in front of him and uses its power to blow off a piece of pipe and hits him on the head, killing the engineer on the spot. Hector, Brian, and several guards are watching Mia's camera. When Rose comes to them, they say they didn't find anything suspicious. Then they play the last video on Mia's phone. In the video, Jackson suddenly disappears in smoke. Then they see Hal, who came to Mia. After he leaves, Mia picks up her phone, and there's a lot of fear on her face, right after which she dies. The captain guesses that Hal must have done something, so they need to arrest him for questioning. At that time, Hal is talking to Julie in the ballroom. Rose and Brian come to him and tell him to come with them. They take him to a private room to talk. Soon the captain tells him that Mia is dead, her husband is missing, and Hal is the last person who saw her alive. In the CCTV cameras, it shows Hal arguing with Jackson repeatedly. Hal says he admits that sometimes he gets angry, but that doesn't mean he goes around killing people. During this, that unknown girl uses her power again, and suddenly the ship's engine starts running by itself. As soon as the captain feels the ship moving, she goes straight to the control room. The captain goes to the deck and sees the ship is indeed moving. She tries to contact Parker on the radio, but it's no use because no signals are going anywhere. In the control room, the captain blows up at everyone about who started the ship. Her assistant tells her that all controls are locked. They even rebooted the system, as the captain said, but it didn't work. It's some other power running the engines. Now the ship is moving towards the same iceberg that the old Titanic hit. Captain Rose quickly asks everyone to find the reason for this. She wants to reverse the ship as soon as possible. On the deck, Brian meets her and both go towards the engine room. After they leave, Julie and a woman named Mrs. Strauss come to the deck. When Mrs. Strauss is alone there, a woman tells her that the necklace looks very good on you. Mrs. Strauss thanks her, but as soon as the woman turns, she becomes a ghost and strangles Mrs. Strauss with that necklace because the necklace once belonged to that ghostly woman. These are the spirits of people who were killed on the Titanic that day. In the engine room, Captain Rose tries to fix the mess. Suddenly, the engineer's body appears in front of her. Frightened, she tries to contact Parker, but the radio doesn't work again. Is this woman crazy? Doesn't she understand that all signals are jammed? Where did this captain come from? She's like a madwoman. Rose knows they need to shut down the engine quickly, or it will explode. But the system is completely jammed. Nothing is working. Brian sees that the engine can't take this much pressure. It's about to blow, so he tells Rose they should leave. Seeing that the blast is about to happen, Brian quickly picks up Rose and takes her out of the engine room. As soon as the door closes, a massive explosion occurs, shaking the entire ship. Many people dancing in the ballroom fall from the shock. Suddenly, people start getting scared from this explosion. Rose tells everyone to stay brave. The situation is still under control. But in the control room, the entire crew is worried. They don't understand what's happening. Now the ship is moving straight toward an iceberg. Meanwhile, Hector is watching the engine room, and a ghost watches him there. In the control room, Parker is still trying to contact any nearby ship. But he clearly says there's no need to panic. Everyone stays in their cabins for a while engineers solve this problem. Just then they suddenly make contact with the Coast Guard. The captain tells them the problem and asks them to send a tugboat. But soon they find out that the nearest ship is 2 hours away. Everyone on the ship is now quite desperate. Hal, who is locked in a room, suddenly finds the ceiling leaking. Lights start flickering, and suddenly he hears scary sounds. Scared, he covers his ears and screams to stop the sound. Suddenly the sound stops, and a ghost appears in front of him. Scared, Hal runs to a corner of the room and tells the ghost to stay away. But the ghost uses its power to tie his hands to the bed and breathes its cold breath over him. Suddenly, Nancy bursts into the control room and meets the captain. She says she has important information. When the captain is ready to listen, Nancy tells her that a ghost killed Mia. To prove it, she shows the last video from the vlogger's phone. Rose doesn't actually believe in ghosts and directly says there are no ghosts on our ship. She has Brian send Nancy to her cabin. Nancy's cabin is near the room where Hal is locked. As soon as Brian enters the room, he sees Hal lying crooked on the ground. His mind is completely gone, and he's telling everyone to stay away. When Brian lifts him, Hal comes to his senses and goes to meet the captain. Going to Captain Rose, Hal tells her that he saw something very strange. He doesn't know what it was, but it felt like he was near death. Hal tells the captain that they should quickly return to New York, or the ghosts of the old Titanic will kill them. Just then a guard comes and says they can't find their security head Hector anywhere. The captain first tells Brian to lock Hal back in his room because he's talking nonsense, and then tells him to go find Hector with the guard. They leave, but Rose is still trying to talk to Hector on her radio. As guards are taking Hal to his room, they see that unknown girl. Hal immediately recognizes her. He says this girl must have caused all this mess. She was talking all confused, saying people died with gold. Died with gold. The girl denies that she didn't kill anyone, but she knows what's happening. She says she'll tell, but people aren't ready to hear the truth. Pointing at Hal, she says it's all his fault. He went thousands of feet down into the ocean and stole things from the dead, and now all those people have come to get their things back. This ship is cursed, and no human here will survive. Hal asks in panic if there's a way to stop all this. The girl answers that it's too late now. Brian takes the girl to a room and locks her up, but she keeps screaming that everyone will die. Everyone will die. Soon the room's door opens by itself, and the old Titanic's Captain Edward Smith appears. Brian shoots at him, but the bullet goes through the ghost's body and hits his own friend. Suddenly, the ship's power goes out completely. The captain tells everyone to turn on their phone flashlights and point them at the controls. Rose suddenly sees something near the wall. So she tells everyone to turn on their phone flashlights and point them at the wall. But there's no one there. She thinks it might be her imagination, and she tells everyone to fix the system as soon as possible. After this, Captain Edward Smith's ghost gives some of his power to his great-granddaughter. Brian gets scared seeing this, but he can't do anything. As soon as the work is done, the girl turns and knocks Brian unconscious. Then she calmly leaves the room. Hal, panicked, returns to his cabin and decides to throw back everything he took from the ocean. To calm down, he goes to the bathroom to wash his face. But suddenly, he sees Mia's ghost. Brian comes to his senses and sees his companion is alive. He tells him to stay there and goes out asking for help. But the guard doesn't listen to him and follows him. But as soon as he reaches the corridor, a ghost kills him. Meanwhile, that girl reaches the control room. She uses her power to throw Parker aside. Rose tries to stop her, but as soon as she touches the girl, she sees the captain's ghost. After that, the girl pushes Rose away and steers Titanic 3 towards the same iceberg that broke the first ship. The captain pleads with her to stop. Everyone will die. What will she gain? But the spirit inside the girl won't let her think or understand. The crew tries to regain control of the ship, but they fail. In her last attempt, Rose tells the girl that if the ship crashes, you'll die too. But the girl smiles and says she doesn't care. Soon after, the ship crashes into the iceberg at high speed. Julia tries to calm passengers and take them to the assembly area. Rose frantically tries to contact the outside world, but there's no response. Just then Hal suddenly comes in and says he knows what's happening. To stop everything, they need to return all the things they took from the old Titanic back to the sea. But Rose is not in the mood to listen to his nonsense. She tells him that if he wants to help get passengers into lifeboats, not talk nonsense. Titanic 3 is sinking rapidly. People are very scared. But during this time, Brian picks up something from the hull that was taken from the Titanic. But he can't go far because Mia's ghost appears in front of him and shoots him with his own gun. The ship is now more than half submerged. People are running around in fear. Water has reached the corridors, and there's chaos everywhere. In the ballroom, Julia goes looking for Brian, but he's now become a ghost and drops a lifeboat on Julia. Hal bravely continues helping people. But as soon as they start lowering the lifeboats, all the ropes break, and just like the old Titanic, everyone falls into the water. Rose, like a true captain, stays on Titanic 3 until the very end. Finally, the ship sinks completely. Hal is shaking in a lifeboat. Suddenly, he hears a voice. It's Captain Rose. Hal helps her and pulls her into his boat. Lying on the boat, Hal suddenly starts laughing loudly. He laughs and says, "Tell me, I stole things from the dead, and the dead killed everyone except me." Rose quiets him down and says, "You help people. Forget all this now." But suddenly Hal goes completely silent. When Rose turns to look at him, she realizes he's dead. But moments later, he transforms into a ghost who also kills Rose. So, if the Titanic ship is really rebuilt, would you like to ride it? Tell me in the comments for sure. See you in the next video.